الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
How did Mahmoud Ahmadinejad turn himself into one of the most famous and provocative Iranians in modern history?
The Iranian Hitler! Ahmadinejad out of UN now, now, now!
Who is this man? And is he really of extreme views, almost unbalanced views?
He was warm, extroverted, religious, and pretty nice, actually.
Salam, salam.
Did the West overestimate the threat posed by an opportunist with little actual power? Did we ever get him? Did we ever really understand him?
No, we didn't.
Mahmoud Ahmadinejad likes to go on tour. One of his final trips as president takes him to Accra in Ghana. Traditional presidential duties appear to be of little interest. Here, he even has to be prodded into going the right way. But then, Ahmadinejad insists on meeting the crowd. A populist always needs an audience. This is where he is happiest. He enjoys the stage he spent the last 8 years building.
I see him as a man of heroism who stands against any act of oppression and suppression. That's how I see him. He stands not for the Islamic Republic, but he stands for the liberation of mankind. We love him! 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 Why don't you like him? Why don't you like him?
Iran is ruled for life by its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. But every 4 years, the country chooses a president. It is an office with plenty of exposure, but little ultimate power. In 2005, the mayor of Tehran decided that he could make more of this job than anyone before him. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad didn't much look like a potential president. He wore a cheap jacket instead of a robe. His final campaign events were chaotic.
خب من به خاطر اینکه زانوم مشخصاً آسیب دیده بود اصلا نمیتونستم تکون بخورم. یعنی دکتر بهم استراحت داده بود ولی خب نمیخواستم اون لحظه رو از دست بدم. من با هیچ چاره‌ای نداشتم جز اینکه دور وایستم و از دور اصلا هیچ عکسی نگرفتم و خیلی ناراحت بودم یکی دو تا عکس گرفتم دیگه، اصلا صورتشون چون قدشون هم کوتاست اصلا صورتش دیده نمیشد و دیگه اصلا آسی شده بودم از این وضعیت. وقتی که اومد رد بشه و داد زدم سرش که لحظه ای که به من نگاه کرده عکسش هست که اون لحظه ای که می‌خواست به من جواب بده من فلش زدم و عکسش رو همون لحظه گرفتم که گفتم دست من نیست. وقتی من داد زدم گفتم که شما همینجوری می‌خواید مملکت نگه دارین؟ گفت خب من دست من نیست، می‌بینین منم اینجا هیچ کارم. و وقتی صبحش اعلام شد ایشون شدن رئیس جمهور، من 2-3 روز همینجوری بودم که تو سر کی داد زدی؟ الان چی کار می‌خوای بکنی؟ یعنی این هیچ وقت باورمون نمی‌شد اون موقع.
Washington too struggled to make sense of Iran's new president. The Bush administration found itself with a simple question: who was Mahmoud Ahmadinejad?
What you get when you're in the White House is you got a lot of different views and a lot of different strands of who this man is. It is very difficult, even with someone that American officials might have spent a lot of time with, to make judgments. This was a figure, of course, that for a variety of reasons the American officials had not spent any time with. So the answer is you really don't know.
But there was one strong early clue here at Ahmadinejad's endorsement. Ayatollah Khamenei embraces his new president. Then he chooses to leave. He has little need for attention. But Ahmadinejad does not follow him. The leader's bodyguards try to force the new president off the stage.
آقای خاتمی یا رؤسای جمهور پیش از ایشون همه متصل به اون نظم خویشاوندی روحانیت حاکم بودند، اما آقای احمدی‌نژاد برآمده از متن مردم بود، بنابراین از مردم شناخت بیشتری داشت. میزان تعهدش به مردم بیش از اون چیزی بود که به نظم سیاسی متعهد باشه.
He was a nationalist and the first Iranian president to base his support on the working class. He represented the little man willing to stand up to those in power. In his first term, he decided that he couldn't defy the clerics who'd helped to put him in office, but he could pick a fight with the West. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad needed a quick way of getting everyone's attention. He'd inherited a uranium enrichment freeze agreed with European negotiators. By the time of his election, this deal was already in trouble.
Just some months before election 2005, I personally told very clearly, very openly, to my EU3 interlocutors, regardless of who would be elected as president, Iran would restart enrichment.
Days after Ahmadinejad took office, Iran ended the deal. The president may have jumped on board something that was about to happen anyway. He may not have made the final decision himself, but he got Washington's attention.
The negotiated solution, which through the EU3 leadership we had obtained, he basically reversed. He became, within the Iranian political system, probably the most visible advocate of the nuclear program as somehow the essence of Iranian sovereignty. And I think we thought was sort of dragged along initially a rather reluctant supreme leader. And the supreme leader may have learned from that example that the nuclear program could be, in some sense, an element of support for the supreme leader among the population, because Ahmadinejad was really the one who wedded that program as somehow the essence of Iranian sovereignty and pride.
He had no fear, no fear. He said, we would start and they would be able to do nothing. That's it. That's it. This is your mistake. They cannot do anything. I was really shocked whether I can call it he was so brave or unexperienced about international equation, politics, relations. He clearly didn't give a damn to United Nations Security Council to decide on Iranian nuclear issue. They cannot do anything.
Mahmoud Ahmadinejad went to the United Nations General Assembly that year, determined to be noticed. European foreign ministers arranged to meet him. But the meeting produced no agreement, and in later years, sanctions would follow.
I think that the West, and particularly the United States, egged on by Israel, has made a major strategic mistake in the way it's handled Iran, and it's done so ever since the beginning of 2002.
Ahmadinejad out of UN now!
The lack of cooperation from the Americans thereafter in terms of the nuclear dossier begat Ahmadinejad. The neocons got what they wished for, and so did the Israeli right wing.
Mahmoud Ahmadinejad knew that his job came with a stage, but little else. So he worked out a simple plan. The more he spoke, the more he succeeded in provoking a reaction, the bigger his stage became.
رژیم صهیونیستی در بنبست کامل است و به فضل الهی این آرزوی تو به زودی محقق خواهد شد و این جرثومه فساد از صفحه روزگار محو خواهد شد.
Ahmadinejad had no immediate power to put these words into action. He did not control Iran's armed forces, nor did he have the final say on the country's nuclear program. But his enemies listened anyway.
Iran has made clear that it seeks the destruction of Israel. We can only imagine how much more dangerous this conflict would be if Iran had the nuclear weapon it seeks.
I think we have to consider it very seriously. You usually convince yourself this is just rhetoric. It's for domestic purposes. The same things were said when Churchill warned against Hitler. People said he doesn't mean it, it's just for domestic purposes. It's just rhetoric. And I think we have to take it very seriously.
Here, the president found a platform in Lebanon and made much of Iran's alliance with Hezbollah. But to one US diplomat, the closer you looked at Ahmadinejad, the less there really was.
I really do believe that we have taken Ahmadinejad far more seriously than he deserves. And he loves it. He loves being outrageous. He loves drawing fire from all corners of the civilized world. But I don't think it really counts for very much in the Iranian policy sphere.
Mr. Ambassador, Godspeed and thank you.
During the Ahmadinejad years, Ryan Crocker led negotiations with the Islamic Republic.
Having served as ambassador to Syria, as ambassador to Lebanon, as well as ambassador to Iraq, I do think I have some sense of how policy is formulated and how it is executed. And in Syria, as well as in Lebanon, vis-a-vis Hezbollah, that policy is in the hands of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Quds Force, with General Soleimani, of course, reporting directly to the Supreme Leader, not to President Ahmadinejad.
In the absence of any real power, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad needed to find ways of building up his profile. His most reliable technique was to provoke the United States, or better still, to engage with it. Notice the handshake with the police officer at the UN in New York. Here, the president enjoys hosting an American wrestling team in Tehran, making sure he shakes hands with as many Americans as he can. In 2006, he decided to send an 18-page letter to President Bush.
My recollection is that it was a rambling letter, and when the question came up, well, shall we reply to the letter? One of the problems was it's hard to know what to reply to. It was just a sort of a rambling, sort of stream of consciousness kind of thing. And secondly, this was a man who was already embodying policies that were very abhorrent to us and to the rest of the international community. So our response was to try and respond to the letter by speaking to the Iranian people. And President Bush did that on several occasions.
It was a big humiliation, not only to Ahmadinejad, to Iran. It was Iranian president who wrote the letter. And I always complain to Americans that you made a big mistake. He was Iranian president, he took the initiative, he came to you by official letters, you should have responded. You should not have humiliated him.
But Ahmadinejad never appeared to suffer from humiliation or doubt. The greater the controversy, the bigger the smile. During his 2009 re-election campaign, Ahmadinejad tried to present himself as a humble citizen. In this video, he showed viewers round his house. He even did the weeding. He ran for re-election as a populist and an Iranian nationalist.
در کارنامه سیاسی آقای احمدی نژاد خب نقاط مثبت بسیار زیادی می‌بینم. از جمله همین که عرض کردم میزان مردم دوستیش، میزان ملی گراییش. در دوران ایشون پرچم کشور دوباره زنده شد.
But that year, many Iranians were after something more profound. The opposition Green Movement and its leaders Mir Hossein Mousavi and Mehdi Karoubi wanted real reform.
We want freedom! We want freedom! We want freedom!
But the Supreme Leader did not. he ruled that Ahmadinejad had won re-election. The leader's forces crushed opposition protests. Ayatollah Khamenei made sure that Ahmadinejad got his second term. But at the endorsement ceremony, the two men could barely organize a simple embrace. At the start of his second term, Ahmadinejad decided to take the most dangerous decision of his presidency. He would defy his own supreme leader.
Ahmadinejad in 2009 completely changed because he realized that he needs support of the people. In the eyes of the loyalists to the supreme leader of the Iran, Ahmadinejad has no resemblance to the man who became a mayor of Tehran and arose and became a president of Iran. They blame him for everything.
Ahmadinejad's defiance began with his decision to appoint his close friend Esfandiar Rahim Mashai as vice president. Clerics viewed Mashai as a threat. They believed he wanted to subvert Iran's system of religious rule. The Ayatollah vetoed Mashai's appointment, and the leader began to go after Ahmadinejad's supporters. That year, Ahmadinejad family friend Mohammad Reza Jalaipur was convicted of supporting the opposition. Inside Evin prison in Tehran, he began to notice some surprising new arrivals.
I used to talk with the people who were in the next cell, and I figured out that they are supporters of Ahmadinejad, and they have been accused of being the foretellers of Mashai and Ahmadinejad based on their spiritual powers. They were absolutely surprised to be in prison because they were supporters of Ahmadinejad.
During his second term, Ahmadinejad found that he was both president and leader of the opposition to the clerics.
As far as I know, Ahmadinejad always tries to separate himself from the policy of crackdown and violence against the Iranian people during the last 4 years. We've been told Ahmadinejad wrote a letter to Supreme Leader and asked to free the political prisoner and remove the house arrest of the opposition leader. We don't know. Is it right or wrong?
So could the man elected as a loyal conservative have really been a reformer all along?
I do not for a moment buy the notion that Ahmadinejad is a secret reformist standing steadfast against these wild-eyed clerics. It's hard to exceed Ahmadinejad in the wild-eyed department, as his statements make so abundantly clear.
In Ghana, the BBC had a rare chance to question the president directly.
President Ahmadinejad, you have argued with America, you have argued with your own supreme leader. What would you say you have achieved in your 8 years as president?
درباره سوال دوست خبرنگارمون میخوام بگم که ما هیچ وقت با دولت‌های غربی دعوا نداشتیم. اونها با ما دعوا داشتن. اونها هستن که به کشور ما هجمه کردن و دنبال چپاول منابع و ثروت ملت ما بودن. از روزی که ما رو تحریم کردن ما هسته‌ای شدیم. بعد از اینکه ما رو تحریم کردن ما فضایی شدیم.
During his 8 years in office, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was both populist and pariah. He provoked both the West and Iran's clerics, but he won neither fight.
زنده باد آفریقا.
Long live Africa.
Long live Ghana. Long live justice.
He built his own stage, and now it gets taken away. For a man who survives on little but attention, there can surely be nothing more painful.